I spoke with a woman who actually works here at this Walmart. She said that Candace came in to the store by herself because she was here to return a tent.
Investigators say Candace Watson gets into a pickup truck with Robbie Potter.
The mom is in the Walmart, so that means she leaves the 4-year-old baby girl alone and defenseless with a convicted sex predator.
We're very concerned about the safety of the little girl. Our focus right now is to find Mr. Potter and find Haylee. Even if we find little Haylee, which we hope to find her soon, if we don't get Mr. Potter, he's still a danger to other children out there. So we're going to continue our search to make sure we get him.
Police have issued a warrant for Candace Watson's arrest. They believe she played a role in helping Robbie Potter escape from this halfway house. They arrested Haylee's father, James Donathan, her uncle, Kyle Watson, and James Donathan's girlfriend, Nicole Kirkpatrick.
The last thing she said to me that she dropped him off in Bucyrus and she would talk to me right when she got home. And then the phone hung up.
You said she sounded afraid. Why do you say that?
Just the tone in her voice. And she was real short with me. And she's not like that.
You gotta realize most of her life I was locked up. And then when I got home, you know, I was with her for 10 days, and then they come back, rearrested me, and sent me back off for 6 months. You know, and I'm still trying to be a part of her life through all this. So after that 6 months, then I got out, and then I was seeing her pretty much every day. You know, and it wasn't until me and her mom split up 2 months ago that everything slowed down.
I'm Mike Brooks in for Nancy Grace. I want to go straight back to Phil Trexler, reporter with the Akron Beacon-Journal. Phil, there have been 3 other people locked up in this case. Now, it's amazing to me. Number 1, Kyle Watson, who is Haylee's uncle. He's a convicted sex offender. James Donathan, Haylee's dad, and Nicole Kirkpatrick, dad's girlfriend. What's the status of them right now?
Well, all 3 of them, Mike, made their initial court appearances today. They waived their preliminary hearings, and the cases now are going to be bound over to a county grand jury for consideration of felony charges and additional charges on top of what they're already facing.
I want to go back out to Tamara Holder. Tamara, they're apparently complicit in the escape of Robbie Potter. What kind of time could they be looking at now? What charges possibly?
Well, it depends on what they know. I mean, did they just help him escape, or did they help him to create this conspiracy to kidnap the woman? I believe that the mother was kidnapped, and the daughter, and aid in their taking off down the road to Ohio or whatever.
The mother was kidnapped. Wait a minute. Okay, so they're all laying in the bed
Mike,
together.
Listen.
The roommate.
Mike, you are an experienced.
The roommate says they're all laying in there together, and then she even comes home one day and Robbie Potter's kicked back, laying in the bed. So you're going to tell me that Candace Potter went to work and then she comes back? Come on. She's not.
No.
No. The victim in this
Mike,
is little 4-year-old Haylee. I want to go right now to Bethany Marshall.
Mike,
Bethany,
you don't know that. Mike, you do not know that this was the victim, that she's the only victim.
Excuse me. You're not Bethany. Bethany, sex offenders, what is their recidivism rate? This guy just got, he escaped from a halfway house, and he's been locked up 2 other times with children 7 and 9. What's the possibility that he's going to offend again?
The possibility is so high. And unlike serial killers who will kill a few people and then they'll go underground for a year and then they'll pop back up, sex offenders, they escalate sequentially, so it's more and more and more throughout the lifespan. I think that it is unlikely that Candace was kidnapped. I believe that Potter groomed her from behind bars, because we know that sex offenders don't just groom the child, they groom the entire family, and she probably has the profile of women who fall in love with men who are in jail. I mean, think of Scott Peterson and all the women who are sending him letters. There are women who love jailbirds. Often these women have abuse histories themselves, so they fuse and confuse abuse, power, and love. Those states are confused. They think that because the guy is in jail and has no money and resources, that the guy will likely be more dependent upon them. Probably Potter convinced her that he was picked on and abused by the system. And look how soon he got the whole family into bed. It is tragic and sad.
Pat Brown, criminal profiler and author of Killing for Sport out of Washington, D.C. Weigh in.
Okay, I'm going to make you sort of mad here. I think it's very possible that Candace does like the jailbirds, as Bethany said. I think she's got a whole jailbird family around her, and, you know, the father of her child and her brother. She's used to being around those kind of folks. And I think she may indeed have fallen for this guy, but she also may have believed, because her brother said this, and of course her brother is a lying piece of work, but anyway, the brother said, I thought when he was in jail that he had done a statutory rape thing, and he had said the girl was older, and she may have believed that too. So Candace may have gotten a story that he was unfairly in jail. She may have hooked up with him and gone off with him, but it's possible she found out later that that wasn't true, or he did kidnap her after the fact. So that may be why she hasn't called home.
Back out to Bethany and Marshall. Bethany, sex offenders, they're very charismatic. I mean, they can convince people. What's in the mind and the personality of a sex offender?
Well, I think first of all about what Pat Brown said, I think it's important to note that Candace Watson's aunt told Candace that he was a tier 3 sex offender, and Candace did not want to believe it, and that's probably the cold tone of voice she had with her mother as she was disconnecting from her family so that she could take off with this predator. But these guys, if he's what's called a regressed pedophile, he probably has same age mates that he's sexually attracted to, but then under times of stress, he regresses back to wanting to be with children. But I'm sure he works and worked and worked and worked this mother a million times to get this little girl into bed.
Yeah, but they haven't even known each other that long. Clark Olban, our producer for Nancy Grace Show, how long do we think they've known each other?
Well, our understanding of this situation, Mike, is they possibly have only known each other for just a few days. Apparently, according to the roommate who was on our program last night, it may have been the first time Potter was over at the household.
Back out to the line, Sherry from California. Thanks for staying with us.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question. I would like to know if everybody has seen these people. They've seen them at a campsite. They've seen her in a Walmart. They've seen her at a gas station. Why has nobody stopped that vehicle or tracked that vehicle with cops on the way? Why is everybody letting it just disappear into the night? And that truck cannot be running for 24 hours a day. They have to be stopping someplace to sleep.
Drew DeSerto, Assistant Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal, working on the case. Have you gotten leads of people even having any sightings of this truck yet?
We've got a lot of leads. As stated before, it's several hundred tips we're following up on. At this point, we haven't been able to confirm any since June 2nd. We've had a few, some we're following up on still to see if we can confirm, but since June 2nd, nothing.
Back out to the lines, Natasha from New Jersey. Thanks for staying with us.
Hi, how are you? I
Good,
love
thanks.
Nancy Grace, and I love you, Mike. Thank you so much for covering for her. I have a couple of comments. One of the things that I've observed is that every time we've seen the mother, Candace, we've not seen the little girl. So could it be that this was a case of, you know, she was manipulated into thinking that she, you know, he was legitimate or whatever, and then when she went off with him, all of a sudden he became his true self and, you know, kind of is now using the little girl as a pawn and making her do things like going into Walmart, you know, filling up the gas tank so that he's not seen.
Pat Brown, what do you think?
I was saying, Mike, it may be that she left willingly with him in the beginning, thinking she was going to go off with this fun guy who was just not such a bad guy after all. And then after they got onto the road, he may have turned on her and be using her, basically have kidnapped her at that point and saying, look, if you don't do what I say, I'll hurt your daughter. That's one possibility. Of course, there is the other possibility. She just likes the guy and she doesn't care if he's a level 3 sex offender.
I'm thinking it's that possibility, because there are many times that she could have escaped. When she at Walmart twice,
but her daughter was in the vehicle. Her daughter was in the vehicle, so it's possible he threatened her and said, look, if you do anything, I'll hurt your daughter. And by that time, she was willing to go along because she was afraid. So I don't know which way to go with this. I know that she made a terrible mistake going, you know, off with this particular guy, but we'll find out.
Back at the lines, Patricia, New Jersey.
Yes, I'd like to know where they're getting the funds to live on the road like this.
That's a good thing. That's a good idea. They're talking about them possibly running out of money, Patricia. You know, because it takes money to put in gas. It takes money to get food. We don't know, and I'm sure that's one of the investigative leads that everyone's looking into.
Originally, we thought she was going to Delaware area, which is about 70 miles south of Crestline. but we have traced her activities out to Stratton, Colorado at this point. We think she's headed for possibly Phoenix, Arizona area.